In this first exercise, we're going to make something that looks like a ticket with holes punched out. So we're going to start with the inch helper template and draw a rectangle. I'm going to go ahead and draw it so that it is 5 blocks wide and 3 blocks tall. And I'm using the incremental snap tool to make sure I get it exactly right. Now I'm turning on Object Snap for midpoint so that the center of our circles snap to the midpoint of each side of the rectangle. I'm going to draw my circles so that they are all about the same size, and because I'm using incremental snap, they should be exactly the same size on all 4 edges. Then I'm going to use a new tool, the Trim tool, to trim out the parts I don't want. First, I'm going to select the circle,
then I can select
which
the
is the
line that I
boundary
actually
of that
want to
line that I want to
disappear.
get rid of. You can make this process a little faster by doing all the rest of the circles together. I'm selecting all 3 of these circles, pressing enter, and then selecting the lines inside them to make them disappear. I still need to get rid of the second half of the circles on the outside. So the boundary I need here is the box. I basically don't want my circles to go outside that box. So I'm selecting all edges of my rectangle, pressing enter, and then I can trim away the outside of the circles so that I have this ticket shape. Our next exercise is going to end up looking like this. So 2 circles with some lines that are going through the circles. Opening up the inch helper template, and I'm going to draw with my incremental snap tool on 2 circles that make sure we have the exact same center. If you don't have the center object snap on, you probably want to make sure you have that on so that they are actually centered. Then I'm going to use the line tool to draw some lines that go through the center of the circle. In between each line tool, what I'm pressing is the space bar to reset and go to another line so that I don't have to keep pressing the line tool each time. After drawing all of these lines through the circle, I'm then going to use that new tool that we just learned about, the trim tool, to trim out the lines that I don't want. First, I need to select the boundaries, so both the inside and outside circle. Press enter, and then I can select all the inside pieces and the outside pieces to get rid of the lines that I don't want. So make sure that you select the boundaries first, press enter, and then you can start to trim away the lines you don't want. Our next exercise is using the extend command. I'm opening up a new inch helper template, and I'm going to get my line tool, and I'm going to draw 5 lines, turning on incremental snap and ortho so that they're nice and straight. Here I go, drawing 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lines that are all vertical next to each other. And then I'm going to draw a line across the top. And once again, I just press spacebar in between each of those to make the process a little faster. Then I'm going to use my extend command to select the boundary that I want to extend to. Press enter, and then I can select each one of these lines to extend them out to that boundary that I selected first. So similar to the trim command, but kind of the opposite because we're extending instead of trimming. I'm going to go ahead and press undo and try this one other way. You can select the boundary first, and then you can actually select all of these at the same time after pressing enter to make your life a little bit faster. Last exercise looks something like this. We're going to go ahead and open up a new inch helper template. We're going to draw 2 rectangles. One is going to be 5 inches by 3 inches, and then the other one's going to be 3 inches by 5 inches, going kind of on top of it. I have incremental snap on to make sure that I'm lining it up properly. Then I'm going to get the line tool, and I'm going to draw some X's on the side here. Once again, pressing spacebar in between to kind of select that last command really fast so I don't have to keep pressing line tool. And then I'm going to get my circle tool, and draw some circles in the other corners. I'm using the incremental snap so that the circle is just slightly smaller than that area of the grid. My mouse is a little sensitive here, so it's kind of hard to get it exact, but that's where I want it. And then another circle right in the middle, same size. So I'm trying to make it snap just a little bit smaller than the grid space, like there. Now what we're going to use is a new command called explode. So I'm going to actually select everything that we have here and click on this little icon that's explode. And what that does is it makes it so I can select individual lines from the rectangle instead of selecting the whole rectangle. These 4 lines I want to delete, so I selected them, right click and erase, or you can press delete on your keyboard, and this one's all done. Your final exercise is to draw this ice cream truck. Have a little fun with that. Make sure you're reading instructions. Use those trim commands and make sure you use the explode command as well as necessary. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson.